is our guest here tonight. You heard a little bit. Yeah, it is good, great marketing because it comes from a great source here. It's our buddy Chase Thompson. So give him a big round of applause, everybody. Yay! Woo! Chase is from San Antonio. He's one of the cohorts in crime on the Note NBA podcast. He's also, for those 165 investors that went through it, he's also the guy that put together the magic on the 30-day marketing training series. There's actually a 5-day and a 30-day. Did an amazing job for that. So, Chase, welcome tonight. Thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know you had a busy weekend with one of your daughter's birthday parties this weekend, all right?
Yeah, I did. It was her first birthday, in fact. It was a lot of fun. We did, instead of gifts, in lieu of gifts for the first birthday like we did for the first one, it was like bring some cash. So, like, we'll like match that amount for like a college fund. So it worked out well. So she started off on a good foot. So it worked out.
That's cool, man. So you did like an ESA, like, hey, bring instead of toys that will not be played with or clothes that she'll grow out of in the next 30 days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. No, so then we have, through our connections at these IRA custodians, now we have, like an ESA we can use in deals. For those who don't know much about that.
I think you might be setting a new trend there, buddy.
It's pretty incredible. It's pretty incredible. There's a lot of, let me see, show my screen here. I'll show my screen, yeah. So there's a lot of really cool things. Let me see if I can play this. I don't know how this works. Can everybody see that?
Yeah, I think we see it good.
All right, good. It should work out really good. Yeah, if you're in this business and you don't have like an ESA or like a self-directed thing like that, I highly recommend it. It works out really well. So I was actually going over my notes, and if you can see this, it looks kind of familiar if you were either at the Austin Quest IRA marketing event I did there, or you've watched the video. This presentation has changed a little. I just love this intro page. So there you go.
I want the picture of this when you're done with it tonight, all right?
Yeah, for sure. I was actually going through my notes while you were doing your intro, and I just realized that like a lot of the things I'm going to talk about tonight are great for marketing your real estate business, but they could probably also help you like lose weight, or like you could like give this presentation to your mom who's like trying to start up a cupcake shop or whatever. Like they're just, I didn't realize like how, it's not like I'm somebody special, but like these are just really great things to look at. What I wanted to put together for you guys was a presentation on not only how to market like it's 2016, like it says on the screen, but number one, stop marketing like it's, 1916, and number two, kind of put together some mistakes that I see a lot of people making in our business and a lot of other businesses with regards to their marketing. So I don't have any screenshots from anybody in the note space, though these are some things I've seen a lot of people do within the note space. So if you are concerned any of these issues or things that you have had a problem with, reach out to me personally and we can talk about it. But these are going to be kind of your 7 deadly sins of mistakes that you're going to want to avoid when it comes to your market.
I can say Chase is being extremely nice right now. Like it's about 6 months ago, Chase talked about somebody does great content and video-wise, but their images, the JPEGs, the videos afterwards, just suck ass. And I always wondered why that happened. And I'm like, wait a second. She's talking about me.
So, yeah, it's easier this way, right?
It is.
So,
but I love it because, all right. So I have especially the last 2-3 months, I've really made a conscious effort taking some of the things we learned about, like Canva and other images. I think I've upped my game on the JPEG thing a little bit better.
You really have. It's something, and actually we talk a little bit about it in one of the things here, but like just things like the images, man, they're just so important, and it's the first thing people see. We're visual creatures. We recognize things something like 12 or 14 times faster via sight than sound or verbally or whatever the case may be. So it's it's kind of ingrained in us, right? Like this is just a part of who we are, and to fight against that and not do something like have great visuals or some of the other things we'll talk about, it's just you're shooting yourself in the foot. Like for no other reason than you just aren't listening to things I've been preaching for the past year and a half in this space. So listen to the things I've been talking about the past year and a half in this space, and there you go. So the first thing we got up here is just, obviously this is kind of a slide designed for more of a public speaking situation. I can't see the Q&A, but if you want to type into the Q&A for Scott to check out, but just kind of be thinking about this. Think about what's the best marketing advice you've ever gotten, kind of like ever in your life since the beginning of business. Kind of be thinking about that. Have that be top of mind throughout what we're talking about. And if he sees something come through on one of the chat, you can let me know what they're saying. But really kind of be keyed in on that. And there's a reason why, and we'll get to it at the end. But I love to bring this up in the beginning. One of the things that was brought up in the live presentation I just gave, where I had this slide up, someone said, done is better than none, which was speaking to this idea that, like you were talking about, Scott, like your visuals weren't the best, but you had some, and that was better than nothing, right? Because the alternative is nothing, and then you just slowly got better at what done meant, right? Like that's a great piece of advice. So that was a really good piece that was thrown out. It was probably the best one in the room. There's about 5 people that were brave enough to try to speak about their best marketing advice while a marketing guy was in front of the room, but just kind of have that top of mind.
Couple questions.
Anybody shout anything out?
People want to know, will they get a copy of the slides?
You will get a copy of the slides. Scott also records these. I don't tend to do slides like other people do slides. So I will absolutely provide a copy to anybody that sends me an email for sure.
Right.
Just as a reference point, absolutely. I recommend obviously take some notes. There's contact information at the end. Anybody that knows me, we can dive in on that for sure.
Quote here.
Yeah.
Couple. One is the best advice was under promise and over deliver.
Okay.
And then I guess Frank here says I use the slides for my own real estate recall. I guess what do you mean by that, Frank? So
yeah, definitely beg, borrow, steal, man. Just give me credit 3 times and we'll be good. Just take out these ones that say my name in them and have my nice, beautiful picture.
It's all right.
Real quick, guys.
Hi, I'm Chase Thompson and Frank.
So for those of you that don't know, if you're new to the call or you haven't been familiar with me, I'm Chase Thompson. I have been working with Scott and in this kind of real estate investing space since about the middle of 2014. I've got a wonderful wife, super intelligent, beautiful lady. I've got 2 lovely kids. If you listen to the real estate podcast we do, which I'll talk about in a minute, I've got another on the way. So busy time around here, heavily involved in the real estate investing space, and of course marketing, which is one of my specialties. That and baking cakes. So the 2 things, they pay bills. So I love marketing, I love real estate, and so that is where my focus has been for the past 10 years, pretty much. So yeah, it's a good time. The reason why I'm in the note space is because I was a mortgage banker before. I got hooked up with Scott, and that's how it all got started. So I've been going in this space, specifically on the retail side and now on this kind of secondary-ish side for the better half of about 10 years now. So that's why I'm here in front of you today, which is important to know.
Chase, why don't you tell me a little bit about the ticker and your experience with that stuff? I think people...
Sure. On top of that, I also, when I was actually a mortgage banker, when I first got into the business, I didn't have any business. I didn't have a book of business. I didn't know any real estate agents. I didn't know anyone in the business. But I knew that what I needed to do to be able to get that business was to do video. This was back in 2008 and 2007, before it was like really cool to be doing video. It was about 2 years after YouTube launched, and it wasn't quite what it was obviously now. And I knew that was going to be important. So when I was just a brand new loan originator, I started a show on YouTube called The Ticker, and it was a daily show designed to teach real estate agents how to use technology and marketing and these types of things in their business. And it was just meant for the local San Antonio market here, obviously the internet being what the internet is. I ended up picking up contacts and going and speaking at different places and things like that. Some of the best real estate agents and contacts I have now live in Vancouver and New Jersey and California and Florida, all these places that I could never do deals because I could only do them in Texas, and that's where I was licensed. But it ended up creating this massive network and this massive market for me to be able to play in. So nowadays, when I have to reach out to a market, a lot of times I try to go back to that well of those agents I used to know from that to be able to get, eyes on a property or different things like that. So when I'm talking about the marketing things I'm talking about here, please understand this is not hyperbole. This is not, another blog post. This is literally, it's how I got started. Everything I talk about is exactly where I was, oh my gosh, almost 10 years ago now, to be able to, drum up the business. And in your case, you might be looking for investors, or maybe you're just now dipping your toe into investing and you've still got like a traditional business that you're doing, brick and mortar, whatever the case may be. All of these principles apply, and everything I'm talking about can be applied to your business. So yeah, you can definitely go check out The Ticker. It was a wonderful show. Nowadays it's a little dated. I look a little younger, but definitely go check it out. It was a lot of fun. For some of you, you might know me on either Instagram or Periscope as at Chase Thompson. This is an important slide here, and so is the next one and the following one, because it's important to understand that what we're talking about today isn't just marketing face-to-face all the time, right? It's digital marketing. It's marketing in the social spaces. It's marketing via email. It's marketing on LinkedIn or Quora or Medium, and we'll talk about those websites in a minute. But it's important to understand that in today's marketplace, everyone is a marketer, and every place that you have an opportunity to have a presence that you can, be able to sustain, it's important. So search me out on Instagram at Chase Thompson. You'll find a ton of really great quotes and other things, pictures of my daughters, my wife, me, vacation. It's a lot of fun. Definitely check it out. Some of you might know me as at ChaseTH, which was a terrible choice in username over on Twitter, but it was when Twitter was still really new, and I was like, this is really short, this is great. Definitely should have picked up at Chase Thompson. Major mistake on my part, but it's all good. I've rectified it across almost every other social platform. That's fine. That was a bad choice, but that's my Twitter handle. Go check me out over on Twitter. I have a lot of fun over there. It's if that's a space you're into, that's a space I'm also playing in, and I highly recommend it. And some of you might know me as at NoteMBA. This is actually my Snapchat handle for our podcast called Note MBA. If you're not familiar with Note MBA, it is the #1 note investing podcast on all of iTunes. So every single week, every single Wednesday for the past 61 Wednesdays in a row, we have dropped note investing, marketing, lifestyle design, knowledge on this show. And so that's another way that a lot of people have found me. The important thing to understand, though, is that every single channel I've just talked about is just another place to do marketing. I could have just as easily stopped at I am Chase Thompson, and that would have been, marketing like it was 1956. But because it's 2016, I have all of these other channels I have access to, and I'm taking advantage of as many as I can, as best that I can. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. The first thing I want to talk about real quick, though, is how much intentions matter. I like to be as upfront and honest as I possibly can before I go into a deal, before I go into a meeting, and things like that. So straight up, full disclosure, intentions matter. And my intent this evening, and you'll see it as one of the last slides, is to talk to you about joining a marketing community that I've got going. It's going really well. We've got some really great investors already in there. And these are people that are doing the business and doing it really well. And so that's my intention.
Doing it well.
Exactly. I don't know how many hip-hop heads there are in the room, so I try not to, jump on it too quick, But, yeah, that's my intention. So when I'm meeting with a potential investor, hi, how are you doing, Scott? I just want to let you know my intention with this meeting is to invest your money within the end of the month. And they're going to go, wait, what? I don't even know what we're talking about. I'm going to go, hey, look, up front, I just want to let you know my intention because I believe that strongly in what I can do for you. That's the type of stuff I'm talking about here. Intention matters. Scott, when he was producing those visuals, they weren't great, but the intent mattered. No one was calling him out on it. No one was like, oh my gosh, this guy, look at his graphics. No, they were coming to see him speak live. They were jumping on his email database. They were paying to see him talk. They were investing money with him. Intention matters. It's very, very important that you know that. So this is the face everyone usually makes when I tell them that they are now a marketer. Like literally this guy right here. But it's important to understand that today we're going to be talking about those 7 deadly sins, the mistakes that everyone else is making and you yourself might be making, and avoid those. Don't make this face. Don't be that guy. And like I said before, from a Quest IRA, presentation I gave, there's another kind of set of slides that usually come after this guy's face. So I'll be sure to let you guys know where you can find that because it's equally as important that you watch that presentation as well. But don't make this face. I was literally in a room of 50 plus I got, right? It was like 50 plus people at that IRA event.
Yeah, actually.
And I put this slide up on the screen, and everybody laughed. Super fun, whatever. And then as I started to dive in on the principles, everybody in the room eventually made this face, it just without exception. So like, just understand, I know where you're coming from. I was there. It's not that big of a deal. We can get through this. The first thing I want to talk about here is that there's a big difference between failure and mistake. Failure is when you try something and it doesn't quite work out the way that you thought it would, but you learn some things and you're able to take that opportunity that you got in the trial of it, bring that to the next one and try something again. You put together a video. It doesn't really grab the traction you want, but you learned, you got a couple of comments, you got some skills, and you're able to take that to the next video and the next and the next and the next. Same with the blog post. Same with anything else you're doing. Failure is that trial didn't quite go the way you wanted it, but you learned and you can take it to the next. A mistake, though, a mistake is going to be something you've tried, it failed, and yet the next time you do it, you just do it the same way, again and again and again. That is a mistake, and that is what I want to help you to avoid. Failure gives you the opportunity to grow, the opportunity to continue to do better business, more business, and all that kind of stuff. What I'm talking about tonight isn't that. I'm talking about the mistakes that I literally see people do all the time, every time, and that's the problem. So the first one up, this is the first mistake I see a lot of people making, and that's going to be not understanding your audience. Straight up, if you're a note investor or real estate investor on this call, not everybody with money is the person you should be working with. Just flat out. There's some people that have money that you shouldn't work with for a myriad of reasons. You just can't understand and align yourself with their goals, or maybe they just come from a background that doesn't jive with you, and so every time you have a conversation with them, it just doesn't work, and you're never able to really communicate appropriately. If the relationship's just not going to go well, and it's not going to grow, and neither one of you, it's not going to be symbiotic in that way. So understand your audience is very, very important. Now, if you, say, have a couple of investors that you're already working with, take stock of them, like literally. Like, okay, all of the people I'm working with are currently between their, 53 and 56. They're all men, and they all have, these similar features, like all these things, and just go, holy crap. Everyone that I've been able to sustain a relationship with when it comes to investing is this type of person. That's important, vital information for you to know. That's not a bad thing. You've literally just avoided so much heartache by not working with people that aren't going to be good fits for you, and you've now isolated every time you're at an event, that's the guy I need to be going after. You could say whatever you want about I'll get anybody's money or whatever the case may be, but this is something that is very, very important. This changes how you shoot your videos. This changes how you write your blog posts. This changes how you give your presentations. Very important to know and understand your audience.
I couldn't agree with that more, Chase, because that's so important. Because especially when you start diving in and spending a little bit more money on when you start spending more money on your marketing.
Oh, for sure.
When we start using like targeted Facebook ads or targeted Twitter ads, then it gives you so much. Facebook and those mediums give you so much kind of way to narrow your marketing down to be specific. It's good to know your age group. So like with a note investment, what we see, it's basically 35 to 65 is where about 85% of everybody falls. It's almost 50% men, 50% women. But they've all graduated. 75% of them have some sort of college or graduated degree. All right. And on average, they make $75,000 a year or more.
So that's perfect. Perfect that you know your audience. Funny bit on this, knowing your audience. We were talking about my daughter's birthday earlier. So my older daughter, Farah, who's 4, wanted. She's going to be some amazing party planner, event planner, coordinator thing. I have no idea. She's incredible at it. She's like 4, and she's like always putting together. It's crazy. But she wanted to plan our 1-year-old Violet's birthday. Like, she specifically said those words. And I'm like, what? Like, who wants to do that, right? But, like, at the age of 4. So we were like, well, what would you do? And what she put on her list of, like, what she knew her sister would want, like, what she did, all this kind of business, was not what was on our list. And then we step back and we go, I guess I've never really been a 1-year-old girl. I don't really know what a 1-year-old girl's going to, but she nailed it. Everything that she was talking about that she wanted to do for Violet's party was perfect. That's what I'm talking about. It's ridiculous, right? And it's such a weird analogy. It's such a weird story. But guess what? It was perfect, and it made sense, and she had a great time, right? Like, that's what I'm talking about, guys. It seems so minute, right? But if you take that very simple story from a 4-year-old child and extrapolate that into your business, guaranteed you make more money this year. Next up is going to be staying consistent. This one grates on me almost more than any of the others. It's the person that starts an email, marketing campaign and sends one email and then doesn't send another one the entire next 12 months. It's the person that starts a Facebook page, does 3 Facebook posts, and then never posts again. And they talk about how much marketing doesn't work for them. They do one mail out. They make one phone call. I just want to, the corollary. I don't know I don't think you can see my face right now, but I look like that guy I showed earlier on the couple slides ago, because that's the face I make when people aren't consistent with their marketing. But this, in my opinion, is like somebody who hasn't really, done a great job with their health, right? Like I'm currently on a health kick, right? And they've gone 5, 10, 15 years of not taking care of their health, right? And then they jump on a plan, a program, and they want it to work in like 30 days. Are you freaking kidding me? You spent 10, 15, 5 years getting where you are now, and you think 30-day turnaround is going to work? That's insane. That's crazy. So you cannot take that same principle and apply it to your business and expect it to work. It's just not going to work. You might catch fire once. You might send an email one time, and somebody gets back with you, and now you've got an investor. Awesome. That is the outlier. That is not the rule. That is the exception. When it comes to marketing, be ready and willing to be consistent. And the very next principle is when people are not committing to the process. I love that wedding ring shot in the back there. When they're not committing to the process, understand that getting into and starting a marketing program is like starting a fitness program or going to school or whatever else. You've got to commit to the process. Understand that it is going to take 6 months of posting blogs 2 times a week. It's going to take, consistent posting to a Facebook page. It's going to take you consistently calling banks for 6 months to a year before they really take you seriously and start sending you tapes all of the time. It is going to take you committing and understanding that I'm going to put forth just gobs of effort, just tons of effort, tons of value, all of this kind of stuff before I ever expect anything back. You have to commit to the process. You want to know what's really funny? We were talking about our podcast, Note MBA, right? We were talking about being consistent and committing to the process. We have done that show now for 61 weeks in a row. And we're just now starting to, I called a bank, because I'm in a process of calling banks every day. I called a bank hedge fund yesterday. And the guy's like, oh, and he knew who I was. He knew who I was when he got on the phone. It took the better half of 14 to 15 months now. That's how long it took of us putting out, we're up to almost 50 hours of free stuff on the internet. So if you want to come cry to me about your one phone call, your one day of calls that yielded no tapes, I'm not the guy to talk to.
I talked to a guy today, Gary Nash, who was at the Fast Track recently, and Gary, I'll tell you Gary survived hepatitis C. He's actually recovered from it. And Gary is actually training to be on American Ninja Warrior. All right? Probably the fittest guy I know. And so he's been training. He didn't make it. He made it a year ago, 2014, I believe it was, and then he fell out of it. But his goal is to get back to it. And so he's training every day. And I kind of throw this in here. Committing to the process is kind of like learning how to walk. If we gave up the first time we tried to take a step and fell on our knee, we'd be all a bunch of freaking wheelchair people. And there's nothing wrong with if you can't walk. Maybe a bad analogy here, but if you had to try to learn how to walk or ride a bike and you fell down, you gave up every time, you would never ride. You'd never walk. We'd just be sitting around crying all the time. And so
Totally.
the only reason that Chase has gotten to where he has and I've gotten to where I have is because we do it. We've committed to the process. We do it over and over and over and over and over and over. And after a while, if you build it, they will come.
Totally. And if you want a really great book on committing to the process of this idea, it's a biography on Nick Saban, who is now the head football coach of Alabama, Roll Tide, whatever. Go read that book if you want a real idea of committing to the process. Next up is going to be not focusing on client retention and just focusing on acquisition. I hear zero. And when I say zero, I mean legit zero, goose egg, none. Nobody in the real estate investing space talks about client retention, investor retention. Always, everyone's always talking about, I need to raise more capital, I need to find more people, I need to da-da-da, I need to do this. I understand. More capital would be great. But what would happen if you focused on the investors you did have? What happens if you focus on the stable of 5 you have? You do an insane job. You want to talk about under-promise and over-deliver. You do an incredible job of meeting their expectations, communicating with them on how the deals are going. That's what I have done, actually, with an investor I met with at last year's Lifestyles event. And you want to know what happened? She went back to the Lifestyles event this year. And guess what? They were like, hey, we haven't seen you at a bunch of Lifestyles events. She's like, yeah, I met this guy while I was here. Turns out it was my wife's mother's best friend. I didn't know they were in investing. And she's like, I met him, and this is the type of deal, and I put money with him, and this is how it's going. Guess how many referrals she had for me? 7. 7 people who she didn't go, I've got 7 people that I know of that could use her service. She's got a list of 7 people who, after talking with her, said, I want you to give him my information. Client retention, investor retention. Acquisition is important, but are you kidding me? Someone's already given you a check and you're already focused on the next one? My mind's blown. Stop and occasionally focus on the people who've already trusted you with thousands of dollars. Just a thought. Next up is going to be not looking at your competition. And by not looking at your competition, what I really mean to say is it's not necessarily looking at Scott or looking at me, but understanding that if, let's say you were a camera manufacturer nowadays, you're Canon cameras. If all you're doing is focusing on what Nikon is doing and Sony is doing, and you're completely ignoring, say, what's happening with cell phone cameras, that would be a mistake. What I'm talking about with regards to not looking at your competition is understanding that when you put up a Facebook post, you're competing with not just me as an investor, or some guy who's on Wall Street, or this guy over here who's a financial planner. You're competing with my mom's Pekingese photo, and that guy's kids, and this person's vacation, and this random ad. Understand that the level of competition for all of those eyeballs and all that attention is incredibly high. So you better be on your freaking A game and know what you're doing. Have an audience in mind, right? Being consistent, committing to the process, focusing on the people that already matter to you, right? Look at the competition. Understand that attention matters. Attention is the only thing that matters at this point. And everybody is your competition. So putting out crap isn't going to fly. This one's kind of fun. I just love the read. This is the analogy here is really great, but the idea is not selling on the solution, not selling on the solution and getting lost in the problem. I see note investors do this all the time. Somebody comes up to you, or you're at a party or whatever. Oh, I hear you're doing this thing now. What are you doing? And so now I invest in default mortgage debt. Now, default mortgage debt. Have you ever seen that movie, The Big Short? Oh, it's all about shut up. You've already gotten lost in the problem. Stop. I don't care about the drill. I don't care about the hole in the wall. I wanted to hang art. That's the solution. That's what you need to focus on. The second you hear yourself talking with someone and you're getting kind of lost in the weeds, you're getting off into the problem, reel it back in. Sell on the solution. Do not get lost in the problem.
So what would you give to say people an example? It's like, instead of rehabbing properties, I rehab borrowers?
Sure. Absolutely. A good friend of ours, actually, he likes to introduce himself, or at least he did when I was having a conversation with him. He likes to say he's a re-performer. Oh, what do you do? I'm a re-performer. Wait, what? That immediately Immediately, that is a solution within our business, getting reperforming loans, right? Like immediately, he says he's a solution right off the top, right? That's fantastic. That's so great. But on top of that, maybe it's in
Hey,
the
lady, I'm
marketing
a
you're doing.
reformer.
Yeah, hey, baby. It's in the marketing you're doing specifically, right? Like, let's say instead of focusing on, say, the nuance and all this greatness that is note investing in your real estate blogs, how about focus on what's happening with the growth in people's IRAs based off of the work you're doing, or what's happening in the neighborhood that you've now invested in a couple of times and got some remodifications in. I don't know. All I'm saying is, though, is that if I'm having a conversation with somebody, oh, great, oh, slamming solution. How about what we started this whole dang call off with? ESAs. What about that solution? I was on the phone, literally. This is not even scripted at all, but you asked, so I'm telling you. I'm on the phone with a friend of mine who saw me posting about real estate on Facebook. She sends me a message. I've got a question. We sold our property. I don't know how to claim it on my taxes. This has literally nothing to do with me, and I'm not giving tax advice in the general sense ever, just because that's not my jam, right? But I happen to understand the question, called a friend of mine to make sure I was giving good advice, right? I call her. We're having a talk. This is how you should probably do that. Definitely talk with somebody if you're not comfortable, because I know you're probably doing TurboTax, but this is probably how you should do it. Then we start chit-chatting. What are you doing now? She's a cardiac nurse. Oh, I see you talking real estate all the time. What's that about? Funny you should ask. Don't you have 4 kids? We do. My daughter just had a birthday. Really? What do y'all do for, da-da-da? And I'm like, actually, what we do on their first birthday is this. And then we open up an ESA. Do you have an ESA? No, we have 529s. That's unfortunate, because with my ESA, and now I tell her the solution. I didn't tell her that I've invested in default mortgages. She didn't care about that. She didn't care about all this kind of random shadow inventory and all this other stuff. She's got 4 kids to put through college. As a cardiac nurse, I don't know what that pays. All I'm saying is, now I've got her ear. I'm talking about the solution. That's what I'm talking about.
So we got a question here. Noreen asked a question. So, for example, do you focus on what the ROI would be able to do for them or versus the solution? So kind of like if somebody's got, hey, let's use an example we'll use this weekend. Houston, Shell laid off 10,000 people. Okay? There's a lot of money sitting out there. So if I come across somebody that was unemployed now, but they have money, hey, let us help you get your IRA back on track, or let's help you get your retirement back on track, or, hey, we're getting our kids' education off to the right track, off on the right foot, kind of that aspect. Is that what you would talk about,
Yep.
kind of, Chase?
Totally, absolutely. 110%. Yes. If you're talking about ROIs with people that don't really care about ROIs, you're wasting your time. Go back to the first thing about know your target audience. Now, if I am working with sophisticated, like I'm not going to talk ROIs with my mom, right? Like that's just not because she's my mom, but because of the type of investor she would be. That's just not where she's at. She would be more concerned with, my last name's Thompson. Her last name's Thompson, obviously. You'd be like, well, Ms. Thompson, look, it sounds to me like your goals are going to be setting yourself up for retirement with this much coming in, and those are the types of conversations she'd care about. She doesn't care about if these deals are returning 12%. She wants to know that in X number of years, when she retires, what's going to be on the back end for her. That's what she cares about. That's the solution to her. That's what I'm talking about.
That makes sense. That's kind of why you see a lot of people talk about, hey, imagine, talk about when are you looking to retire? What's that look like? Where are you living? What kind of car are you driving?
Absolutely. Ask the hard questions.
There you go.
Absolutely ask the hard questions. Totally every time. Because I feel like a lot of people, when they're in this interview process with potential JV investors, they're just so on their heels wanting that capital that they don't want to step on toes. Forget all of that crap. This person wants a strong, confident person that knows what they're talking about, that knows what their end goal is. So just flat out, I've actually had to say in a conversation with someone with regards to talking about potentially investing and all this kind of stuff, I'm talking and things are going well, they're answering questions, everything's going good. And then I said something and I watched their eyes kind of glaze. And I stopped. I said, you have no idea what I'm talking about right now, do you? And he stopped and he was like, he snapped out. Because he was just like, holy crap. Like, this guy just asked a really point-blank question, right? And he was like, I don't. What do you, can you back up? I mean, take stock in these conversations that you're having. and really break down after the fact, man, if I wouldn't have said that, how do you think this would have gone? I think a lot of people shoot from the hip way too much with these kind of conversations.
Yeah, it's people overtalk the situation. If you're brand new, a lot of people get scared. They don't want to look stupid, so they try to overcomplicate the situation, overcomplicate the discussion, and almost have, as I say it, they throw up on the individual with too much information that they think they want to hear versus identifying the basic things. And honestly, your conversations are a lot shorter because you're direct to the point versus a lot of fluff. People retain more because you're giving them less shit to take in at the same time.
Absolutely. Totally. Absolutely. The last thing, and this one's really easy, not taking advantage of tools. And by tools, I mean, obviously you're on the Monday Note. You're checking out, say, our podcast is free. Listen to that. You're not using automation tools within your marketing. If I've got to give one more presentation on Buffer, I'm going to lose my mind. But again, I'm probably going to mention it here in like 2 seconds. But I'm just saying, use the tools around you. Like, are you freaking kidding me? Don't set up a mail client with MailChimp and then not use it. Don't open a Buffer account and not use it. Don't set up Facebook pages and not use them. Don't watch the Monday Note where Chase is dropping crazy marketing bombs and then not do what I'm talking about. It's crazy. It's crazy. Take advantage of the tools you have access to.
What would you say are the top 5 tools that somebody needs to use?
Well, funny you should ask. So off the top of this, Stop Marketing Like It's 2002, we're going to be talking about tools people should use. Funny you should ask.
Not scripted, people. Trust me, not scripted.
This is literally not scripted at all. It's fabulous. Oh, look, it's Buffer, the tool I just talked about that almost nobody uses that I've presented to. It's crazy. Listen, guys, this one is the easiest one by far. If you have a Facebook page or a Facebook account, Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest, anything like that, guys, go check out Buffer. It's an amazing app that allows you to automate your posts across different social networks. There's a paid version that gives you more access to stuff. The free version is plenty for most people. It allows you to basically set and forget a lot of marketing content that can go out. It's fantastic. Please go use it. I've talked about it ad nauseum in numerous places. You can find them on our Facebook page, on our YouTube page. I mean, just go use it. It's phenomenal. They have a great onboarding process. Next up is going to be Instagram. I really don't see a lot of people using Instagram generally, but well. It's an amazing platform for short-form video. If you live in a state, like I live in San Antonio, there's not a ton of note deals down here. But if you're in North Carolina, Florida, Indiana, Ohio, places where there's a lot of note deals, you have a ton of opportunity, What you can do with Instagram is just, it's amazing. It's quick. It's so easy to snap a picture, get a great business quote. It's incredible what you can do there. And the demo on Instagram is getting older, so you're more likely to start getting into that age group and that age bracket that has those dollars to spend. Instagram also has a relatively cheap ad platform right now because it's so new, and you can target the crap out of people because of all the data they share between Instagram and Facebook. So clearly Facebook's going to be the winner here across multiple different tools, but between Instagram and Facebook, there's so much you can do from an ad platform perspective.
Well, what's cool now, Facebook has things. You post a photo there, they've got a thing they say on there now that you can literally, okay, let's post your Facebook image to Instagram now, I just noticed recently.
Yep. As long as you got it linked up, it's incredible. This automation stuff is ridiculous. The thing I want to touch base with is Facebook, right? Like it's getting older. People think they know everything about it. Really important notes on Facebook real quick. Number one, if you're going to be putting video marketing in your business at all, highly recommend you use YouTube. Highly recommend you use something like Vimeo. But when it comes to putting your video content onto Facebook, don't share the YouTube link. Literally post the video to your Facebook page or to your Facebook business page. Facebook, when they have content that is put natively, which means it's uploaded directly there on their platform, they give that content more run. So more people are likely to see it, more people are likely to interact with it. They can watch it directly. With video, upload it directly to Facebook. And then the other really cool thing that just became available to most everybody, and it made the next tool I'm going to talk about not irrelevant, but certainly give it a run for its money. But everyone now has access to Facebook live streaming. So basically, you go to your status window, you can now click on where your status is at, and you click a little button, and it says live stream. And right then and there, you start recording a video. Why does that matter to you? I don't know. What if you're randomly on a road trip and you're like, I'm going to go check out some assets. Hey guys, what's up? Chase here. I know I talk about real estate all the time on my Facebook page. It makes people send me questions about taxes that I don't know how to answer. But today, I'm in front of a house out in Ohio. Why, might you ask? Blah, 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 blah. Facebook live stream. Use it. It's incredible. On top of that, if you have a Facebook page, you can do a particular type of ad called a Facebook dark post. And what a Facebook dark post is, write that down, dark post, Google it, ton of data out there on it. What this is this is an ad that looks like it comes from your Facebook page, but it never publishes to your Facebook page. So if you're targeting that audience we were talking about before, because Facebook has crazy ad targeting, the only people that will ever see that piece of content specifically designed for them, you got it, is those people. It's amazing. And it pulls people into your Facebook page, pulls them into your funnel, gives you an opportunity to add them to their database, have a conversation with them, and cash those dollar bills. Next is going to be Periscope. Periscope is an amazing app. It's live streaming. That's all this thing does. It's viewable in your Twitter stream. You can schedule posts to Periscope. It's fantastic. It's just another really great tool. What if you did the Monday Note? Like, let's say Scott was just getting started. He was a 20-something, scrappy, he's just getting into the business. You know, like, he doesn't have the database he has. He doesn't do the Monday Note like he does it now. What he does is he puts it on Periscope. And every Monday at 7 o'clock, he's live on Periscope, answering people's questions, talking about the business. These are the things that you can do. It's live TV, and you're the star. Highly recommend it. Cannot recommend it more. And then as a fifth, even though there isn't a fifth, I've got something even better for you. What's on the horizon? Things that you should be watching out for when it comes to 2016. These are going to be the big things for 2016. Oh, crazy video, right? I just got done talking about it. The biggest social platforms on the planet are incorporating video at a staggering rate. In fact, very few people know this, but there are more video views on Facebook every day than there are on YouTube now.
So that guys, the question we just got here, Chase. Somebody's asking, so what do you mean that YouTube gives it more run when content is directly up to it? But Patricia, I think you misplaced that, is that he was talking about Facebook. When you upload videos to Facebook directly, they need to be, what, less than an hour long for them to upload most of the time, Chase? So if you upload those videos directly to Facebook, Facebook will feature those more.
Right, exactly.
In the feeds versus if it's just shared. And it'll give more value because it's loaded there. It's not just shared.
That's exactly right.
And Tony, the question
That's
is
exactly
Facebook
right.
dark post.
100%.
So, okay. Perfect. Sorry, Chase. You're good to go, bud.
You're cutting out a little bit. What was the question? Oh, okay. Yeah, so with video, guys, like this is so incredibly important. Do it. Like, one of the biggest complaints I get from people that are within, the marketing community that I, kind of fostered here is that they don't like to do video because they don't like how they look on video. Well, hey, guess what, Tom? How you look on video is exactly how you look in real life, and I still have conversations with you. So get over it. Like, it doesn't really matter. This is an amazing platform for you to grow your business. I'd highly recommend you do that. So across multiple platforms, Facebook, Periscope, Meerkat, YouTube, Instagram. I mean, every single platform has a video application. Get used to it. Get ready to do more of it because it can and will grow your business. And a lot of people in 2016 are going to be implementing it, and I hope that you're one of them.
So I got a question for you.
Next up is going to be. Go ahead.
And I'm going to interrupt you because I wanted from here. I just didn't. I just literally logged in here to Facebook and realized, oh yeah, you do live stream.
You're cutting out a little bit there. What's up?
The whole live stream thing with Facebook. Just realized that everybody could access that now. And so just set that up here. What would you think is more important for people to do? Be Periscoping?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Or do you think or doing the live stream? Would it depend on more so where they have a bigger following or age group, or what do you think about that, Chase?
So should you be periscoping or should you be live Facebook streaming? My answer is look at your audience, and more than likely most of you are going to be after an older demographic, which would necessitate using Facebook over Periscope for live streaming. However, understand that the Periscope is a platform specifically made for live streaming video. So you're less likely to interrupt people by posting that type of content there. So I would, say that that's one thing to look out for with regards to Facebook. If I was going to say start using Periscope a lot or start doing live streaming a lot, I would probably use Periscope first just to get comfortable with the nuance and to not, over-index over on Facebook, and then slowly just start to integrate into Facebook because the clientele there is just going to be a little bit older.
That makes sense.
Next up is going to be Snapchat. Speaking of over-indexing on young platforms, Snapchat is going to absolutely freaking explode in 2016. It is going to be a massive app that is going to be used by every single 15 to 25-year-old that you know, period, hands down, no question about it. Why that matters to you is because Facebook was used by every 15 to 25-year-old you knew for a while. So was Instagram, so was Twitter, so was every other platform from here until infinity. They are the group that starts it, and then me as a parent, I'm like, what are my kids on? And then I'm going to go gravitate towards it. Now, I've been on Snapchat for a couple, pretty much since the beginning, but obviously that's why I'm the one giving this presentation. I would highly recommend you go check out Snapchat, get familiar with it, get your username, more than anything else, lock down your username, and then maybe sit on this one for about 6 months, unless you just love the platform, in which case, send me an email. We'll have a conversation about it. I think it's incredible. I think there's a lot of opportunity there, but if you're not the person for it yet, I totally understand. This slide was about what's going to be big in 2016. So, just in case there's any confusion. Blogging. So blogging is something that's been going on for a really long time. What's changing in the blogging space and why it's going to be a lot bigger in 2016 is all of the different places you can blog. For those that don't know, blogs are, generally speaking, written content, sometimes augmented with video, that talks about whatever the topic you're going to talk about at the time. This can be a blog that's on your specific website, but what's even cooler is that you can now put on blogs in places like LinkedIn Pulse, Quora, which is a Q&A site, Quora, Medium.com, like Medium, like the shirts I used to wear before I became a dad. That's another great website to do some blogging on. There's different platforms to blog now. So your question might be, Scott, or somebody else in the audience, why would I put content on someone else's website? Well, friend, I'll tell you why. Because no one gives a crap about your website. That's why. Medium gets millions of hits every day. Quora gets millions of hits every day. LinkedIn, millions of hits every day. Your website, crickets every day. That's why it matters. What these platforms allow you to do is it allows you to establish an expertise on somebody else's dime, and that is very, very important. On top of that, each one of these platforms understands the importance of email marketing. So if you write good content that people care about, guess whose articles are going to feature in their emails? Yours. That's why it matters. That's why you should be doing it, and that's why it's so big in 2016. So, back to this question. What's the best marketing advice you've ever gotten? I hope it was something from this presentation. I don't know if it was, but if it wasn't, send me an email. I'll refund your money that you didn't pay, which is fantastic. But it comes back to that, right? Like, if everything that you're doing and all of these things that you're watching, people that are talking to you, Scott has that great analogy about, the difference between advice and counsel, right? What you've just been given is amazing marketing counsel or what have you, but it says the same thing, right? I hope that you've gleaned some nuggets from that. And yeah, that's a big, big deal, and that's why I do kind of what I do here. And that's why I was going to tell you about the marketing sessions that we're doing and the community that I'm building that already has some really, really great investors in it. It's it's incredible. I was telling Scott about it. It's this amazing kind of back-end platform that I've created. It has this growing knowledge base. One of the ladies that's already in the community, she's really excited about the next session that's coming out, as it were. It's a building authority by blogging. So it's this it's going to be 12 to 15 video series on how to blog and build authority with a blog. Everything from how to literally start. Her favorite video thus far has been the if you're a perfectionist, watch this video, which is a lot of fun. It speaks a lot to that graphics thing that we were making before. So we have this growing library of content that people can jump in and just immediately start learning and growing. On top of that, I have an office hours call every single month, and what that is that's literally a Q&A, and I am on the call until there's no more questions. I've had a ton of good time with that, and then we also have a monthly live webinar training, very similar to what we're doing here, but what we talk about is things like how to add pixels to your website. If you don't know what a pixel is, join the community. You'll learn what a pixel is. But it's these in-depth hour-long trainings on what you can do in your marketing now, this month. Take this, what we're teaching, do it for the next 30 days. Let's see where we're at. That type of thing. It's incredible. I have a lot of fun with that. And then, of course, a 24/7, 365 kind of private Facebook group where there's a bunch of really cool people that are going to be in there talking about what they're doing in their marketing, holding each other accountable. I'll be there, obviously, able to answer questions that are outside of the office hours and stuff like that. So I'm really excited about this kind of marketing sessions thing that we're starting. So it's a lot of fun, and I would love for anybody on the call that wants to get in and join us. If you want to check it out, you can be kind of first on the list. We currently only have kind of some beta people in it right now, but you can go to nodemba.com/marketing. Literally, the page looks exactly like that. I want to be part of the marketing sessions community, name, email, and I'll put you on the list for when it goes live to kind of the public. It's just not available for everybody yet. There's just a small group of people that are in it kind of testing everything out for me. And I didn't mention it. It is one night a month, but like most of the things that Scott has on here, anybody that either goes to this page, nodemba.com/marketing, or sends me an email personally from this call, I'll actually comp your first month for you.
Sweet.
So if you want to jump in when it goes live, I will comp the first month for you, and so that way you can jump in and be ready to roll. And you can send me an email at chase@nodemba.com, or again, you can just go to nodemba.com/marketing, and I can put you on the list.
Cool. Is this a couple questions people are asking here?
Yeah.
Jeff asks, is live streaming on Facebook the same as Facebook mentions?
Yes and no. Facebook mentions is for larger brands and their Facebook pages. So if you have a large Facebook page and it's a verified brand through Facebook, what they do is they give you access to this amazing app if you fall into that small category of celebrities and or people with massive Facebook pages, where you get this app called Mentions. And that allows you to live stream directly to your Facebook page, like your fan page or your business page. What everyone else has access to right now, they're slowly lowering the bar on the Facebook mentions. But what everyone has access to right now is live streaming within your own personal Facebook public page. So it is the same-ish with regards to the live streaming, except one, you can't do it on a Facebook page unless you obviously are a large page that has access to mentions, which I personally don't know anybody that does. I take it back. I do know a few people, but they're not like BFFs. I just know them, and we've had a couple of conversations.
Cool. Another question here. Is Blab on your radar?
Blab is on my radar. I actually really enjoy Blab. I have not played with it a ton at all yet, though. To be perfectly honest with you, I talk a lot about rocking the environment, staying in your lane, as it were, and I'm currently actively marketing through our podcast, our website, Quora, LinkedIn, Medium, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook. You see what I'm saying? So yes, it is definitely on my radar. There's actually a really great lady out of Florida, Linda Barnaby, Barnaby, yeah. She does a great blab show. It's wonderful. I just have not honestly had the time to dive in on it yet. If I can't really get in on it and really, really attack it, I'm not going to jump in on it just yet, though I know a ton of people are, and it's been really fantastic for them.
Cool. What other questions do you guys have? Okay. Let's see here. Christine asks, is this different than the previous 30-day marketing we had last year? Yes, it is.
Actually, it is. And in fact, what's really interesting, so this is kind of what is in the back end of the sessions in general, but we also have the 5-day marketing series that I did and the 30-day marketing series are also thrown into the back end of this as well. So if you were someone who has not had a chance to take advantage of either one of those either, you get both of those. They're already loaded into the back end of that knowledge and strategy library. And every single webinar call and office hour calls, they're all recorded and loaded into their own private, section in the back end of the library as well. So not only are all of the knowledge libraries available to anybody, also all the office hour calls and all the monthly training calls are like saved, loaded, and put directly into the back end of the system as videos for you to watch.
So yeah, that's a great question. Chase did an amazing job in the 5-day and the 30-day series with lots of nuggets. But this is honestly, the truth is I'm like, Chase, you've got to do something. You're so knowledgeable what you're doing. And Chase has been providing a ton of content on the yellow pad videos you're doing and everything. And then this is basically what is more from everybody. Is Chase is put this together because he's one man and he's got a tremendous knowledge. We can all agree to that. One of the smartest guys. I mean, I've learned 3 things tonight. The whole Facebook mentions. So what we'll be doing. Trust me, you'll be seeing me using it this week here in San Diego.
The live stream from
virtual workshop Facebook mentions at some point.
Totally.
Or the Facebook stream, I mean. But this whole thing, everybody, it's monthly thing with Chase. He's providing content. He's got office hours there. He's going to be featuring. Why don't you talk about some of the things you'll be featuring on some of your monthly and your webinars, Chase?
Yeah, for sure. So the monthly webinars that we've got tracked out, we've got things like adding. So this is, man, I'm like, I cannot tell you guys how literally pumped I was. I was on a call with another investor earlier, and she was just smiling ear to ear because I was just so jammed on this is literally the most ambitious thing I've ever done. This project is huge. I've never built anything like this before. I'm so pumped. So one of the things that we're going to be covering in one of the upcoming live webinars is going to be how to add Google and Facebook pixels to your website. So why does that matter? So what those are is those allow you to retarget people on the web. Again, what does that have to do with anything? So let's say I am Scott's friend, or I see one of Scott's ads somewhere, or something like that, and I take a trip over to his We Close Notes page. Okay, this is kind of interesting, but I'm not ready to reach out to Scott yet or anything like that, and I go back to Facebook, or I go to some other website. Well, those pixels follow people around. So now when he goes back to Facebook, he's going to see an ad for Scott. When he goes to Reddit, he's going to see an ad for Scott. And when he goes over to Forbes.com, he's going to see an ad for Scott. And he's just going to follow him around the internet all the way home until he comes all the way back and go, damn, man, Scott's everywhere. I've got to give this guy a call. So what we're going to cover on this live call and this training, and it's recorded, so even if you're like, oh my gosh, I can't make it or whatever, you still get the recordings. And then if you have questions, you can ask them during the office hours. I'm so pumped. But what I'm going to teach you is how to add these to your website. It's crazy simple. And then apply it across these platforms to basically follow people around the internet, both on desktop and on mobile, so you can close more deals. It's incredible. So those are the types of things that we're teaching in the live training. It's just, it's gonna be rocking.
Phenomenal. I just clicked on it. Everything's working fine on the link. Somebody was saying they're having problems, but it worked fine for me, buddy. Whoever, was it Amir? Saying it wasn't working, but maybe you just typed in the thing wrong because it worked perfectly for me just a few minutes ago.
Yeah, notemba.com/marketing, or just send me an email. I can add you to the list, or I'm sure Scott will just let me know, and we can send an email out to everybody.
Attendee list from tonight then for you, Chase.
Yep, when it goes live, I'll let everybody know. We're still testing and mapping out all the kinks. It's like I said, it's the most ambitious thing I've ever built. It's going to be massive. As the year goes on, I'm looking to try to add to that growing knowledge and strategy library, about once a quarter, I'm going to be adding those massive modules, like of huge videos, like 12 to 14 videos on just a singular topic. The first one that we're tackling, of course, is blogging, because I just think it's so important. But yeah, so that's it's just going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be really, really cool. So yeah. If you guys have any questions about it, let me know.
Yeah, I get a question here for you. So I haven't written. I mean, I do a lot of video blogs, obviously. This works as a kind of kill two birds with one stone. But I wrote a blog last week before, a couple events. Like the 3 reasons why no investing has high returns for investors. And I posted it on the Pulse. I posted it on Active Rain blog, and I used to blog pretty often, but I haven't blogged like that, just regular written blog, in a long time. And I'm like, holy crap, I got a ton of responses off it that I hadn't done well. And it was literally a one-page little blog, like 5 paragraphs. And so I think when people hear about blogging, they're like, oh, I got to write something long. I'm like, no, you really don't. And so it's actually led me to believe that I've been working on my notebook called Paper Houses, an actual book that we've got a few people involved with. And I'm like, oh, that's I've been writing my outlines and figuring out how did I want to approach this. I'm like, that's the way I do it. I just start off with one little page blogs that we throw into a book completely together.
Absolutely. I mean, the things that we cover in that blogging segment is going to be things like the 3 obstacles that everyone has to overcome. I had to overcome it. You had to overcome it, whether you know it or not. We talk about being a perfectionist. We talk about literally how to set one up, like nuts to soup, like how to set one up. Obviously, I know it's the other way around, but it's funnier that way. It's insane. So here's the problem. Scott really likes for me to show screenshots sometimes. The reason why I don't show screenshots in open forums like this is because some of the stuff I would show you is stuff that Scott won't show you either. It's responses to a blog I wrote where a guy on Facebook literally reaches out to me and says, hey, I saw your such and such, or I heard your podcast, or I saw that thing, or whatever the case is. I want to show you. I do. I promise. So he literally sent me in a LinkedIn in-mail. It said these words, I'm an accredited investor. I have single-family homes and some multifamilies, and I'd love to get in on some of those JV note investing deals. Swear to all things. Holy, that is what that message said. Look, it's insane. If you want to close your business in 2016, you need to start marketing the way I teach people to market and the things that I talk about in this community, period, hands down, flat out. In fact, I don't have a guarantee on this thing at all, but I wish I did, because that would have been a great thing to think of prior to this presentation. But I'm telling you right now that period, flat out, within easily the first 3 months, you're going to get enough ideas, enough content, and enough people that it'll pay for itself for like 15 years. Easy. Period. Because you'll land investors. Period. And the reason why I know is because I land investors with the things I talk about in these things. I'm so pumped. I don't know if you can tell. But that's what I'm saying. That's what's so cool. So I cannot express enough how important it is that you guys definitely check it out.
I'll share something here really fast. I literally just got a response from a friend of mine here in San Diego that I met, 6 years ago. And she came across somebody, her friend, who just started investing in some notes, who's also a health coach and I guess a trainer in San Diego here. Is like, hey, I need to introduce you to this guy, and you guys need to meet. And he's got deals for you that you were looking to fund. And so literally I'm just, while you're talking there, Chase, typing an email response out there and just doing a little introduction here. It's kind of funny. Small world, man.
But that's what I'm saying. The crazy thing is that it blows my mind. The one thing that I left the Quest IRA people with that I did not say at all in this presentation, and this is the one thing that most of those people from that event have now come back to me and talked about more than anything else. This is what's important for you to understand. Like, this is vitally important. There's like however many people on this call.
We've had over.
You have to understand.
100 some odd people register for it, and
yep. Here's the important thing to understand. You've got Scott on one side of this call and me on the other side of this call. And then you've got yourself, right? There's going to be deals you're going to close that we could never close. You've got a connection to this person, it's your mom, whatever the case may be, you're going to close a deal from this guy or that girl or this girl or that guy that we wouldn't close. No question. But it's not going to be more than a handful of deals. And past that, understand that if you don't do what I'm talking about, if you don't market like it's 2016, if you make the mistakes that I was talking about, if you don't go to, say, the Node MBA YouTube channel and watch the Quest IRA video I did, understand that I'm out there giving presentations to current IRA investors. I'm out there marketing my face off. I'm going to close the deals that you're not if you're not doing these things. That's not like a threat. It's just a fact because no one else knows you're doing this business. That's important to understand. I'm not going to close the deals that you aren't going to close because I'm special or because people like me more or anything like that, right? Like whatever that guy is, he's like, I'm special. People like me, gosh darn it. It's not for those reasons. It's because of the simple fact that I'm marketing and you're not. I'm shooting videos, you're not. I'm blogging, you're not. I'm on Periscope, you're not. Join the community, not for me. It just doesn't matter. I'm like jacked up on how much capital we can raise as a group. Not collectively. I don't want any of your money, but I want you to do better. I see everyone else's marketing. I see the emails that get sent out. I see the Facebook posts that go out, and they are terrible. I want to help you raise more money.
Exactly.
That's what's important.
Exactly. It's the whole point of like if you want to be in the game, you got to take shots. You can't sit and write.
Totally.
You got to be in the game, take shots. That's the only way you get better. It's the only way. You've seen the post from Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan. I missed 9,000 shots. The reason I'm successful is I've missed more shots than you've ever attempted.
Yep.
So it comes down.
Totally.
A couple questions here for you. Question here from Chase. I'm sorry, I didn't catch how long you said this training will last. Is this something that will be ongoing once we join?
For as long as you want to be a part of the community. It's a monthly thing. It's $199 a month. Like I said, if you jump on, via this call or this kind of first list kind of thing, I'll comp your first month. But it's in perpetuity. It's for as long as you want to be a part of the community. It really is. Every month,
That's
forever.
awesome.
Awesome. And all the content will be recorded and all of that business. So yeah. So
Cool.
if you can't make a live call, you can't make an office hours, of course you can always fire off an email or something like that, or go to the Facebook page or whatever. But all of those recordings and all those office hours and all this stuff will actually be done via Google Hangout. So if you're one of the first people to jump in, it'll actually be a face-to-face conversation, which is really cool. So it's like literally we're looking at each other, or you can screen share with me and go, bro, I'm trying to do this thing on my website. Can you help me? Or, can you look at my new business card? Or, you hold it up to the camera. The community is going to be ridiculous. The amount of accountability that's going to come from this group is going to be ridiculous. There's going to be more ideas brought to the table by the people in the group than I could have thought of individually easily, and that's what's got me so pumped.
Sweet. Question here from Jeff. Jeff, do you have an opinion on how my email should read? Yeah, Jeff, I can answer this. Never use an info@mysite.com. Never use that as your personal email. What happens, I had this conversation literally today with Infusionsoft. Somebody from Infusionsoft, my rep with them, we were talking about it because I've just uploaded some recent emails lists from Houston and other things we do. The infos get kicked out of the system. So if you're using an info at, say, like WeCloseNotes.com or LubbockREI.com, you're not going to get any of the traditional emails that go out, email blast notifications, because these big systems like MailChimp, Infusionsoft are going to kick your email out of the system. It's not personal, so you need to give your email, say Jeff Smith at Lubbock REIA or Jeff Smith at whatever your website's going to be. You're only going to shoot something if it's an info. It's not personal, and it'll get kicked out of the system. All right.
Yep. I actually lost some emails when we switched over to mail clients because people. So we switched from MailChimp to Aweber, and we lost probably 20-something emails from the Node MBA email list. So if you stopped receiving emails from us at Node MBA, just go back on and jump on our list. Because they were those type of like info at and those types of things, and Aweber's like, no, this is probably junk. I didn't even get a chance to rebuttal it. They just took them off. I can't even re-add them. The only way those people can get back on our list is if they go back through the process. of like reinstating themselves.
Yeah, I lost like 300 emails in the last 48 hours from people when we pulled them over. Yeah, good times. Mm-hmm. Any other questions, anybody? What you got for Chase before we let him go? You get back to his little girls. It's about 8:30. It's about time to tuck your girls in, aren't they?
I think it's bad time probably, so it's going to be all good. Yeah, if you guys have any questions about I didn't have a ton of info for you guys on the back end of what this is going to be. There'll be a sales page and all that kind of stuff. If you go put your email in here, I'll let you know. This isn't like a ploy. It literally is not ready for public consumption. I've only got a small group of people behind there right now. These are active investors that are actually doing the principles I'm talking about. So those are the people I really want to make sure they understand and they can work through the process and all that kind of stuff. But if you have any questions about it, send me an email. If you whatever the case is, if you just want to wrap or say thanks for giving such a killer presentation, whatever you want to do, just send me an email or whatever, guys.
One last question before we wrap up. Ed asked a question: do investors want multiple contacts on investment staff? Should note investor market his or company with multiple contacts? Ed, that's kind of hit or miss. The bigger you are, probably good to have. But some of these software programs or the servicing companies, they're incorporating to allow you to give access to those investors so they can log in and see at any given point. So it kind of takes the need to have an individual asset manager or investor liaison unless you really need it to start getting bigger. All right?
Totally agree.
Alphonse says, hey, thanks for not only teaching but also pointing out that you guys make mistakes too. It helps.
No, honestly, if you're a perfectionist, watch this video. It's so great. I was having a conversation with someone I knew was a perfectionist, and I told him this is one of the videos we're going to include in this module, and I was describing kind of like how the video went, and I showed them some of the parts where like I do shaky cam for that, and they were just cringing. But that's what it used to be for me. If I showed you some of the first videos that I did, oh god, it'd be like when you see your favorite actor, like when they do like their first audition back when like Brad Pitt was like the chicken man for like he was like the costume guy outside of like chicken joints or whatever it is, trying to get his big break in like Thelma and Louise or whatever. That's what it was like. It's very important to understand that where I started, where Scott started, where everybody else started, the mistakes. I make the mistakes all the time. It's not. I'm just doing more than you are, right? I'm the Jordan, like not me personally. I'm just saying like in the general sense, I'm taking more marketing shots than you are, and more of them are going to land than yours are by proxy. So let's get you ramped up. That's important.
Sweet. Well, Noreen, you're welcome. You're welcome, everybody. Thank you for the kind content. Chase, again, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule, little girls, and everything that you do to help out. I appreciate it. I know you've helped me out tonight along with others there. Everybody, take advantage of what he's offering. Go to notemba.com/marketing and then opt in there. Very easy to get a hold of. Opt in. They'll send you a link to double check, and then they'll send you the registration stuff there for it. But Chase, thanks again for providing a ton of freaking marketing bums.
Appreciate it, man. Y'all have a great night, guys.
Will do. Talk to y'all later.